Hello, everyone. This is Kerwin, and welcome to another episode of Travel Talk. Today's episode is very interesting. So, we're going to talk about Delta Airlines made some changes to their SkyMiles program, and we're going to talk about it because they're very interesting. Let's go. So today is what are we talking? September 14th. And Delta recently made some changes to the SkyMiles program. We have to back up a little bit before I talk about the changes. I have the Sky Club from one of the locations. Where was this one? I don't know where this one was. But it involves the Sky Club. It's probably the biggest part that's hurting everyone. Well, maybe. But so years and years and years ago, maybe not so many years, people started this thing called travel hacking. The world was going on okay, nobody had a problem, but some smart ones came up and go, you know what? There's a lot of loopholes in the system. Let me tell the world. Now, the airlines aren't stupid, right? They're watching, they're listening, and they're like, oh God, we didn't realize that was a loophole. Now that we realized it, or they realized it, but they're like, yeah, not enough people will use it, et cetera, et cetera. So they didn't really do anything about it. But once these hackers decided that, you know what, I'm going to tell the world. And so they started telling the world. And then what happened was all these little loopholes, if you want to call them that, in all the different programs for all the different airlines slowly closed. And this is probably the biggest part of the closure to it all. Leading up to this, and it is good that you have background, because leading up to this, the problem was happening was when you go to the clubs, and the Sky Club is one of them, and the American Express Lounge, you can't get in. You have to wait like up to 30, 40 minutes to get in. It's really terrible. It puts a lot of strain in the system. When you go in the lounge, there's so many people. You still have to wait online to get a drink. You have to wait online to get, unless you have like the black card. The black card, you don't have to wait. You show up, you show it, and then you're in. Black card is a special American Express card that you're invited. That's normally when you spend way more money than the average person. And they have special areas blocked off so you can use it. But a small percentage have the black card. And most people have the platinum card because that's what allows you to get into the lounge. So the lounges are crowded. There's been lots of complaints about the lounge being crowded. American Express tried to limit the number of people coming to the lounge by changing how many people you could. Well, first they limited it to only arrival. So you have to arrive, and then departures. You couldn't be arriving and use the lounge. You had to be departing. Then they changed it to say 3 hours before your flight is what you have. So you can't spend all day in there. That didn't work. So then they changed it to say, well, you can't have companions unless you spend 125,000 or something like that. Or maybe it was 75,000, some high number. Well, that didn't seem to work. So now Delta and American Express are cousins. At one point, Delta was in financial situations, and American Express helped them. They came up with some kind of deal to buy miles and stuff like that. So they're in bed together very tightly. Delta has some American Express issued cards, and that's what they use to, people can use to enter the lounge. United used to have American Express issued cards as well, but they went in bed with Chase. And American Airlines went in bed with Citibank. And so, and what I'm not sure if about American, but what Delta, what United did was United said, hey, if you have an American Express card that gives you priority pass access, you cannot use the United Club. You're out. And so you only can use the Delta Club, or you can use other priority lounges within the airport that accept priority pass, but United isn't taking it if it comes to American Express. They'll take other priority pass, but not the ones from American Express. This happens all the time when airlines tie up with banks that have competition. The bank will say, well, if you're going to tie up with us, you can't use the competition, which makes sense, right? But all this to say, Delta announced a number of changes, and I'm going to show you my screen because it's probably easier if I show you the screen rather than just talk about them blindly. So let me share my screen. And I'm going to share my desktop. Okay, so we're on the Delta page here. I'm going to go back to the top. Now, airline marketing is very interesting, right? Whenever airline marketing whenever airlines make any changes, the first thing they always tell you is that a simpler and more rewarding, those are words that they use. They don't choose these words lightly. They choose these words because they work and they want to smooth the blow. So whenever you see anything like this, you know it's bad. In essence, normally, for you to qualify for Delta, you needed to do what they call MQS, which are segments, MQMs, which are miles, and you need to do MQDs, which is how much you spend. So normally you would do a combination, right? So if you had it depends on the category you're in, you would have a set number of miles that you would use, or a set number of segments that you would use, or and that combined with dollar. The reason why they added dollars in there, and I had a video that talked about this because somebody had asked about the question before, is again, a bunch of hackers started to talk about what's going on and how you can do this and how you can do that. And what would happen is that people would fly a lot of segments, a lot of cheap segments, and they would become, say, platinum, for example, right? But they flew a lot of segments that were like a few dollars. So Delta didn't really get any money. And this happened for all the airlines. They didn't really get any money from the customer, but the customer flew a lot of segments. And the idea was, well, if you had one customer spend $20,000 with you and they're platinum, and you had another customer who spent $5,000 with you, and they also got platinum because they found a bunch of segments and the segments were cheaper than what the other person found. Well, it's not fair for both of them to have the same level and have the same privileges. So they came up with some kind of tiered system to mitigate that. Didn't seem to work, it seems. So now what they've said is, show me the money. For use of another term, you have to earn the status that you're getting, but only by money. We don't care about the number of segments you flew, which American Airlines also did, because now it's just about the amount of money and the miles. Delta's the same thing now. We just care about the money and the miles. Now, so now there are no more what they call MQMs. MQMs or MQ. You don't need MQSs anymore, which is the segments to qualify. All we want is the money. Now we'll still get MQMs, which is the number of miles. You'll still get credit for it based on miles, but it's the money that's going to give you the statuses. Now I'm talking about the good part first because the bad part is coming. Or maybe not the good part. I'm not sure which part of this is any good. So basically, January 1st is when everything changes, right? And this is just all the links that goes through here. All right. They're going to give you a tracker so you can track how much money you've spent with Delta. And in here, the other thing too, before we get to the money part, is just like how this is the same how American does it. You get a point every time you spend $1 towards the Delta bank somehow, you get credit for it. You can spend the dollars Delta Vacations, which means that you go to Delta Vacations website and you book a vacation, which a vacation normally includes everything in one, and they give you one prize for it. So if you spend like $4,000 in a Delta Vacation, they'll give you, I think it's 1 point per dollar spent. If you book a stay, i.e. a hotel through one of the Delta partners using the Delta link, you'll get credit for it. If you book a car rental using Delta, then you'll get credit for it. If you use American Express card, you get credit, but it's not $1 for one card. $1 for one mile for one spend. I'll show you. And of course, if you book Delta or the partner flights, you get credit for it. Well, let's go down some more. Okay, these are the partner flights. It tells you earn one MQD. Remember, MQD is medallion qualifying dollars. And the ticket for price, Delta marketed flight operated by Delta or by our partner. So if you fly, Delta is a member of SkyTeam. So if you fly any of the SkyTeam partners, you'll get credit for the amount of money that you spend, i.e. KLM, what's the other one? It's the big one, Air France. But there's I think the SkyTeam, there's 13 partners for SkyTeam. I'm going to do another video about all the SkyTeam members. And Virgin Atlantic is in there too. All right. So this is the meat and potatoes of the situation, right? If you spend $1 with American Express using the Delta SkyMiles Platinum card or the Delta SkyMiles Business American Express card, you get $1, 1 point, one medallion qualifying dollar when you spend $20. Bizarre now. Or you can earn one medallion qualifying dollars when you spend $10 if you use the Delta Reserve or the Delta Reserve Business American Express card. Not one for one, $10 on one or $20 on the other one. This is the piece that really killed everybody. The thresholds of 2025 status. Now, to explain how this works, you fly. So this year, we are flying in 2023 to earn status for 2024. That's how that works. I used to be a Delta. I love Delta. I mean, Delta is the first airline I ever worked for. Granted, I couldn't move up, so I left. But I kind of have a place in my heart for Delta. That's why. I had a little issue with them where they took away my status because my status was gifted to me, and I complained about it. And then when I complained about it, they were pretty much like tough luck. And then they took it away, so I didn't have it. And I'm like, you know what? I'm not spending my money with Delta anymore. I'm going to spend it with somebody else. So I did. I started using American. And then like a few months later, I didn't even notice it. I signed into my Delta account and I noticed I'm gold again. And I was like, oh, well, you guys could have at least told me, because they were pretty blunt. Nope, we're not giving you the status back. But they did. Never even told me. And I'm like, you know what? I'm done. So I said, I'm giving them a break. And then I was going to start, doing some flights again this year to see if I can get status back. But now I got to spend $12,000 with Delta. Now, I mean, I probably, it depends on all the trips that I take. I could probably do that. But I'm pretty happy with American at the moment. So anyway, instead of doing segments, which I'm going to sign into my Delta account on here, and then that will tell you what the requirements are now. So the new requirements are $6,000 you have to spend to get silver. Now, it doesn't matter how you spend that $6,000. Again, as remember, you can book the car, you can book the hotel, you can book Delta Vacation, and of course you can fly, right? And if you spend the $20 on the one card or $10, every $10 or every $20 on either of those cards, then you get one mile for it. But used to be, and there's always a used to be, right? Whenever you take anything away from members, it always hurts. Okay, so used to be, to get to silver, I would need 25,000 miles, MQMs is what they call it. And then segments, you would need 30 segments. And for dollars, you would need $3,000 to get to silver. So now what they're saying is I need $6,000 to get to silver. So I need to spend twice as much to make it to silver now. And there's no more MQDs and no more MQMs and no more MQSs. You just got to spend $6,000 to get there. If you want to get to gold, it's 12,000. If you want to get to platinum, it's 18,000. And if you want to get to diamond, it's 35,000. So basically what they want to do is they're really going to say, we want less people in the program because there's too many people in the program and it's, I guess, making it not worth it for others. I'm not sure what the reasoning behind all that is. Now, we're going to go down more because the piece that I think most people who do these, these credit card hacks where they have 10 gazillion credit cards. They're just giving you an example of how you can get different statuses. Then they have a little calculator where you can go in and you can calculate what you want. And then they're just telling you a little more about the program, when it takes effect, what's rolling over. But the piece that's killing people is the Sky Club, Delta Sky Club access changes. All right. As part of our ongoing journey, we're working to ensure our clubs continue to offer the premium experience our guests expect and deserve. And I got to tell you, the clubs are really full, right? So they needed to do something. I just don't think this is what they needed to do. So what they're going to do is changes for Delta Sky Club Reserve card members, because Delta has the two cards, right? The Delta SkyMiles Reserve card and the Delta Platinum card, both for American Express. All right, so here's the kicker that everyone is mostly getting upset about. Delta SkyMiles Reserve Business American Express card members will be eligible for 10 Delta Sky Club visits per medallion year starting February 1st, 2025. Why is it February 1st, 2025? Because these rules are going to take effect January 1st, 2024, and you're going to earn status for 2025. So that's why it's starting like that. Card members can earn unlimited Delta Sky Club access after spending $75,000 on their eligible cards in the calendar year. And so if you do the math about 75,000, they were going to give you for this particular card, which is a reserve card, you're going to get 1 point for every $10, right? Okay, so at least, if you did that, you probably would have gotten, you would have spent enough money to get one of the top statuses anyway. But let's see, Sky Club access for the remainder of the current medallion year. So you have unlimited as long as you spend 75,000. Otherwise, you get 10. So the question that everyone is asking is club visit. So if I'm doing Los Angeles to Minneapolis to JFK, can I use the lounge in Los Angeles? Can I use the lounge in Minneapolis? And can I use the lounge in JFK? That's 3. Does that count as a trip or does that count as part of my 10? Right? Because this is not very clear here. I'm sure they're going to clarify that. And I'm sure what they're saying is no, 3 is 3 is 3. You've visited 3 times. Okay. This spend tracking begins January 21st, and then 2025 is when you get the status. Now, if you have the platinum card, you are going to get 6. So the reserve will give you more. The reserve is going to give you 10, and the platinum card is going to give you 6. And people are up in arms. If you look all over social media, everyone is not happy about this. Also, if you have the Delta SkyMiles Platinum card beginning January 1st, the Delta SkyMiles Platinum and Delta Business Platinum will no longer provide access to the clubs. So if you have the Delta SkyMiles and Platinum card, you're out. Bye-bye. If you're traveling in basic economy, Extend my session. Sorry, they're trying to log me out. Let me go back down to here. Okay, so if you've traveled in basic economy now, I have a video about the different types of fares that are out there. So just search this under Travel Talk. Basic economy is the cheapest ticket you ever buy in Delta. I don't even know why they have basic economy anyway, because every time they do it, they're trying to upsell you to the next level. But they're doing it because they're trying to compete against the low-cost carriers. All American Express card members traveling on a basic economy ticket or an equivalent ticket with a partner airline will not receive Delta SkyClub access effective January 1st, 2024. Cheap tickets, you're out. So basically, even if you have one of the cards that allows you visit, if you have a basic economy ticket, you're out. So basically, they don't want you to buy basic economy. They just don't have it. I mean, I don't understand it. But anyway, no, because normally you could buy any ticket, have a American Express Platinum card, and you could get in the lounge, because I've done that before. But no. More program enhancements coming soon. So it's always like, oh, we're gonna have enhancements. Okay, let's see. Complimentary upgrade priority. Who doesn't love an upgrade? We have refreshed our complimentary upgrade priority for 2024, which includes Medallion Miles status moving up in the hierarchy for complimentary upgrades to number 3 position. When you go, you don't really see it, but because you don't know what status people are. But when you buy a ticket and you check in, the system automatically puts you in categories. And the category is based on your elite status, which Delta calls medallion status. It's based on your elite status, and it's also based on how much you spend with the airline and basically who you are with the airline. And so that's what this is. So they're saying they're changing that. They're also changing the million miler status beginning January 1st. Million miler status to be earned via flight miles flown. Any MQMs already earned towards million mile status will remain, and flight miles flown starting January 24 will be added to your million miler status. Really confusing. And of course, they have their charts and their frequently asked questions. And we're going to see if they're going to actually update these. And it's just talk about the SkyMiles program, but that all that stuff is irrelevant at the moment. So let me stop sharing my screen for the moment, and I'll give a quick recap of all the funky changes that they have done. So typically, it's going to cost you a lot more to get status, is the bottom line. You're going to be 6,000 for silver, used to be 3, and you could do segments, none of that anymore. Gold is 12,000, platinum is 18, and diamond is 35,000. I don't think I spend that much on airfares every year. But that's that. Typically, you can earn with you get $1, and it's based on your fare for the flight that you're doing. So if you buy because it used to be they'll give you miles, right? So let's say you go to Europe. Europe is normally about 4,000 miles or so, like if you're going from Houston somewhere up there. Probably a little more. That 4,000 miles, you're going to get 1 point typically for each, but that does not count towards your medallion status. Let's say your $4,000 and your ticket was $600, right? So about typical to go to Europe. Well, it's will be 8,000 because it's round trip. You're only going to get $600 and something towards your thing. You're not going to get that 8,000 points, which is what you used to get, and used to be they add up the points, the miles, to see if you could get your status. If you did like 2 Houston to Atlanta, Atlanta to JFK, JFK to London, that's 3 segments. They don't care anymore. It's just about the dollars, all about the Benjamins. If you use a Delta Reserve card, it's 1 for every $10. The Platinum card, it's 1 for every $20. And you can book travel on, car rentals, vacations, and then you also get $1 for that. Basically, basically, you gotta spend money with Delta, right? That is what they're looking for. And like I said, it's really because there are too many cards out there. The clubs are crowded. And so they're really trying, the bottom line is that this is what they're trying to do. They're trying to get less people in the club. The clubs used to be so nice. You used to go in, they weren't crowded, you could relax. But now, I mean, seriously, it's a nightmare to get in the clubs. I always have to wait. There's always a line outside, which is really annoying. And oftentimes you get to the airport and you have like an hour, right? And you have to spend 35 minutes waiting to get into the club. So when you get in the club, it's like a rush to go find food, and then you can't find any seats. And so it's just been, the experience that you want in the club is not there. I don't agree with what Delta is doing. I think it's wrong to take away so many things from your members who are your loyal members. But you guys have more data than I do. But I think it's wrong. And I think what's going to happen is there's going to be so many complaints about this that they're going to roll back some of it. Not all of it, but they're going to roll back some of it. And, being in the industry, they normally have like a rollback, a fallback plan, because you can't have so many of your customers being upset with you, especially the ones that fly you the most, right? And the problem with this is that when corporate rolls something out, it's the employees that get the brunt of it all the time. And so you don't want that. You don't want disgruntled customers coming up to your employees all the time and complaining about something all the time. You just don't want that. And so this is why they have to fix this, because I'll tell you, I'm in some online groups and just looking on Facebook and on Instagram. No one is happy about this. No one, because they're taking away a lot of stuff. So the other piece is that, and the other summary, the basic economy ticket worth nothing. So basically, don't buy basic economy anymore. I think they'd already stopped giving you points for basic economy. Or if they don't, if that didn't stop, they'll give you like nothing, next to nothing. So it made sense not to get it anyway. And if you have a Delta Mix, sorry, you no longer have the option to pay. Oh, you can't pay $50 to access the club, which is what they gave you, which was a perk that they had before. And the last piece is that you only have 10 visits if you have the reserve, and 6 visits if you have the platinum card. Now, as an American Express Platinum member, you can still access the Century Lounge. So I'm not sure if this is going to change the number of people accessing the Century Lounge, because having a platinum card, you can still get in, and they'll probably change that. My thing about this is, if you're going to make the credit card I have less value, then you should charge me less for the card. It's $695 for the platinum card. And if I can't use it to get into if now I can only get into the club 6 times, then you've diminished the value of the card that I have. And I know American Express is paying you. For every person who sign up, you get paid, right? You get paid and I have to pay. And now you're telling me you're giving me less benefits. I get it. I get it that the clubs are full, but this is not how you treat your members. And they gave us notice, what are we, September? So this doesn't start until January. But people aren't happy. And again, you do not want your customers to be so upset with you that when they get on the plane, they're yelling at the check-in people because they have an issue. And all they're saying is, and I see people online say, you know what? I'm ditching the card because now I don't have the benefits. I got the card knowing I was going to get this much benefit out of it, regardless of all the, shenanigans that people do. And, there's a lot of shenanigans with that there. There's card churning, which just means you kept getting card after card, or you figure there's a lot of stuff out there. But regardless of all that, I signed up knowing that you're going to give me A, and now you're changing it along the way. I still have the card. I still pay my fees every year. And now you're changing it. So now I don't want a card anymore. I'm just going to go get another card that gives me the benefits that I want. So I'm pretty sure it'll be interesting to see if the number of card holders have decreased, like within the last 24 hours, because that's about how long the changes have been out there, maybe like 36 hours now. But who knows? So let me know what you think. Do you have one of these cards, the Delta? Do you have one of these American Express card that was issued by Delta? Or do you have a platinum card anyway? Because it's affect you if you just have a regular platinum card and the one that's not issued by Delta. What are you going to do? Are you going to keep Delta? Are you going to still fly Delta? Let me know. This is an interesting one. So this is Kerwin with fastflyer.com, Cruisinaltitude.com, talking about the Delta SkyMiles changes. Have a good flight. We'll talk soon.